The screech of metal on metal ripped through the quiet dawn like a gunshot in a confessional. Colin Hayes jolted awake in his new apartment, heart slamming against his ribs, the sound echoing from the street below where his sleek black sedan sat gutted, its hood crumpled like a discarded love letter. In the dim glow of his bedside lamp, he stared at the ceiling cracks that mirrored the fractures he had come to Seattle to mend, knowing this was no random act, but the first scar in a war he had been sent to judge. Colin pulled on his overcoat, the wool heavy against his shoulders like the weight of every courtroom verdict he had ever delivered. At 35, he had seen enough shattered lives to recognize the echo of hate in that wreckage, but nothing prepared him for the raw pulse of it invading his own doorstep. He descended the creaky stairs of the old brick building on Capitol Hill, the air thick with the scent of damp leaves and distant espresso from the corner cafe. Seattle's perpetual drizzle painted the world in grays, a fitting shroud for the secrets he carried. Outside, his car was a ruin. The windshield spiderwebbed, headlights dangling like empty eyes, and deep gouges raked the doors as if clawed by some feral thing. A single word was spray-painted across the hood in jagged white letters, G.O. Colin knelt, tracing the letters with a gloved finger, the chill seeping through. He was no stranger to threats, not as a black man navigating the marble halls of justice in Chicago, but this felt personal, intimate in its venom. He had moved here 3 months ago, trading the relentless hum of the windy city for this misty Pacific Northwest haven, hoping the rain would wash away the ghosts of cases that clung like smoke. As a federal judge, Colin's life was a tightrope of discretion. Assigned to a special task force on hate crimes, he had embedded himself in this neighborhood under the guise of a quiet consultant, his true role veiled until the indictments dropped. The target, Derek Harlan, the burly contractor next door whose backyard rants about those people had escalated into documented assaults on immigrant workers. Colin's apartment overlooked Derek's chain-link fence, where faded American flags fluttered like warnings. He had chosen this place deliberately, close enough to observe, far enough to deny suspicion. But now, as sirens wailed in the distance, his anonymous call already placed, the illusion cracked. Colin straightened, his hazel eyes scanning the empty street. A shadow flickered in the upstairs window of Derek's duplex, gone before he could confirm. His phone buzzed, a text from his clerk back in Chicago. Files en route. Harlan's priors confirm pattern. Stay safe. Safe. The word tasted like ash. He spent the morning with the police, his voice steady as he recounted the details, omitting the undercurrent of his mission. Officer Ramirez, a wiry Latina with a no-nonsense braid, nodded sympathetically. Happens too often around here. Gentrification stirring up the old guard. Colin forced a smile, the kind that had disarmed juries, but inside, doubt coiled. Was this the spark that would unravel everything? By noon, the tow truck hauled his car away, leaving a void in the parking spot like a missing tooth. Colin retreated to his apartment, the space still half unpacked, law journals stacked beside a dog-eared copy of Baldwin's essays, a single framed photo of his late father, a stoic Pullman porter, smiling from the mantel. He poured black coffee, strong as regret, and sank into the worn leather armchair that had traveled with him from Illinois. The knock came soft, almost apologetic. Colin tensed, hand drifting to the drawer where his service pistol lay hidden. Through the peephole, a man in his late 20s, lean build, tousled auburn hair damp from the rain, holding a foil tray of what smelled like fresh-baked cornbread. "Hey, neighbor," the voice called, warm as hearth fire. "Heard about your car. Thought you might need some comfort food." Colin opened the door a crack, assessing. The man, Alex Rivera, as the nameplate on his apartment door across the hall proclaimed, grinned sheepishly, olive skin flushed from the chill. He was a graphic designer, or so the building directory said, with ink stains on his fingers and a faded band tee under his rain jacket. "I'm Alex. Saw the cops. Figured. Solidarity." Colin hesitated, then stepped aside. "Colin Hayes. Come in." It was against protocol, inviting anyone close, but Alex's eyes held no shadows, just a quiet curiosity that tugged at something long dormant in Colin. They sat at the kitchenette table, cornbread crumbling between them like shared confessions. Alex talked easily about the neighborhood, the indie bookstore on the corner that hosted poetry slams, the food trucks slinging fusion tacos on weekends, the way the Space Needle pierced the fog like a needle through fabric. Capitol Hill's got heart, he said, but it's got scars too. My dad's moved here in the 90s, back when it was all grunge and grit. They fought for this block. Colin nodded, sipping coffee to mask the warmth blooming in his chest. Alex's casual mention of dad's two fathers, a life woven from love's defiance, stirred memories of his own unspoken yearnings. In law school, there had been Marcus, a fellow intern with laughter like summer storms, but duty had severed that thread. Colin had buried his desires under robes and gavels, a celibate sentinel in the temple of justice. Yet here was Alex, vibrant and unapologetic, his knee brushing Colin's under the table in accidental intimacy. "Tell me about you," Alex prompted, leaning forward, green eyes locking with Colin's. "What brings a city slicker like you to our rainy corner?" Colin chose his words like evidence. "Change of pace. Consulting work." A half-truth, but Alex didn't press, instead sharing stories of his freelance gigs designing album covers for local queer artists. The conversation flowed like the Doomish River, meandering into vulnerabilities, Alex's fear of settling down after a string of ghostings, Colin's quiet admission of loneliness in his high-stakes world. As evening fell, the rain pattered against the windows like hesitant applause. Alex stood to leave, pausing at the door. "If you need a ride tomorrow, my Vespa's got room for one more." His smile was tentative, hopeful. Colin watched him go, the hallway light casting long shadows. For the first time in years, the weight on his shoulders felt shared. But as he locked the door, a chill draft carried the faint echo of that morning's screech. Down the hall, Derek's door slammed, followed by muffled curses. Colin pressed his ear to the wall, heart steadying into resolve. This was just the beginning. The next days blurred into a rhythm of surveillance and stolen glances. Colin rented a nondescript hybrid, parking it curbside with deliberate care, his eyes always drifting to Derek's window. The man was a storm cloud, mid-40s, broad-shouldered from years hauling lumber, with a buzz cut and a perpetual scowl etched by cheap beer and cheaper resentments. Whispers from the task force painted him as a relic of Reagan-era bravado, his construction firm a front for under-the-table jobs that exploited the vulnerable. Colin shadowed him discreetly, coffee runs to the Pike Place market, where Derek barked orders at his crew, his voice laced with slurs that made Colin's fists clench. Evenings brought barbecues in the shared courtyard, where Derek held court with his rotating cast of buddies, their laughter booming like thunder over tales of taking back the neighborhood. Colin observed from his fire escape, notebook in hand, logging every infraction. Yet woven through the tension was Alex, a counterpoint of light. They fell into easy companionship, morning jogs along Lake Washington, where mist rose like ghosts from the water, Alex's breath syncing with Colin's in unspoken harmony. One afternoon, over pho at a hole in the wall on Broadway, Alex reached across the table, his fingers lingering on Colin's wrist. "You're holding back," he said softly. "Like there's a verdict you're afraid to deliver." Colin's pulse raced, the touch electric. Some cases aren't black and white. He pulled away gently, but the seed was planted, desire unfurling like a forbidden bloom. That night, sleep evaded him. Dreams tangled, his father's stern face merging with Derek's snarling one, Alex's hand extended in the wreckage of the car. He woke sweating, the clock glowing 3:17 a.m. A noise, scraping, like boots on gravel. He peered out, Derek, illuminated by the street lamp, spray can in hand, defacing a mural on the alley wall, the vibrant faces of queer icons smeared with black. Colin gripped his phone, finger hovering over record. But before he could capture it, Derek turned, eyes locking on Colin's window. For a heartbeat, the world held, predator and prey, judge and accused, suspended in mutual recognition. Then Derek vanished into the shadows, leaving Colin with the ghosts of what might come. Weeks passed, the air thickening with autumn's decay. Colin's reports to the task force grew urgent, affidavits from Derek's ex-employees, photos of bruises hidden under sleeves. The indictment loomed, a guillotine blade glinting. Yet personal lines blurred. Alex invited him to a gallery opening, a warehouse space pulsing with electronica and bodies painted in neon. Colin arrived in slacks and a silk shirt, feeling exposed, alive. In the crowd, Alex found him, pulling him to a corner where sculptures of intertwined forms cast erotic shadows. "Dance with me," Alex whispered, body pressing close. Colin surrendered, the bass thrumming through them like shared heartbeat. Their lips met in the dim, soft, searching, a kiss that tasted of possibility and peril. Afterward, in Alex's apartment, sheets tangled around sweat-slick skin, Colin traced the curve of Alex's spine. "This complicates everything," he murmured. Alex propped on an elbow, "I serious. Life's complications are what make it worth the sentence." Colin laughed, a rare, unguarded sound. But dawn brought reality, a voicemail from his superior. "Harlan's escalating. We've got eyes on him. Pull back if it gets hot." Too late. That evening, as Colin returned from the courthouse, his cover as a legal aid volunteer holding, tires crunched behind him. Derek's truck idled at the curb, engine growling. The man stepped out, reeking of whiskey, a crowbar dangling from his fist. "You think I don't see you, boy?" Derek slurred, face twisted. "Snooping around, acting like you own the place." Colin's hand steadied on his keys, voice even. "Evening, Mr. Harlan. Just heading in." Derek advanced, crowbar raised. "That your fancy ride? Bet it costs more than my house payment." With a swing, he brought it down on the hybrid's roof, metal crumpling. Colin dodged, adrenaline surging. "Stop," Colin commanded, the timbre of the bench bleeding through. Derek laughed, bitter. "Or what? You'll sue me." Another blow shattered the side mirror. Neighbors emerged, Alex, phone in hand, dialing 911, an elderly couple clutching each other. Sirens wailed again, Derek fleeing into his house as cuffs clicked. In the aftermath, Colin stood amid the debris, Alex's arm around his waist. "You're shaking," Alex said. "Not from fear," Colin replied. "From knowing it's time." The arrest was swift, Derek hauled away in the dead of night. Colin watched from his window, the cruiser lights painting the rain in blue strobes. Victory tasted hollow, laced with the foreknowledge of trials to come. Alex stayed, brewing tea, his presence a balm. "Whoever you really are," he said, "I'm here." Colin almost confessed then, the words on his tongue. Instead, he pulled Alex close, bodies aligning in silent promise. For one night, justice could wait. Morning broke grey and unrelenting, the kind of Seattle light that seeped into bones like doubt. Colin dressed in his courtroom armor, a charcoal suit that hung just so, tie knotted with precision, knowing today marked the pivot. Derek's arraignment was set for 10 a.m. at the King County Courthouse, a squat fortress of glass and steel downtown, where the city's pulse thrummed with hurried footsteps and the scent of salt from the sound. He drove the rental, a bland SUV courtesy of the task force, navigating the slick streets lined with evergreens bowing under the weight of endless mist. Alex had offered to come, his Vespa humming invitingly, but Colin declined with a kiss at the door. "This is my world," he said. "Let me carry it alone for now." The courthouse lobby buzzed, lawyers in herds, families huddled in corners, the air thick with coffee and anxiety. Colin slipped into a side conference room, shedding his neighbor guise for the robe that defined him. Judge Colin Hayes, appointed at 32 after a meteoric rise through public defense, now presided over the federal docket. His clerk, Mia, a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s with silver streaks like lightning, handed him the file. Harlan's counsel is a shark, old school, from that firm in Belltown. Pleading not guilty, of course. Colin scanned the pages, charges of hate crimes, property damage, assault. The car vandalisms, the mural defacement, the threats logged in whispers by terrified witnesses. And the new evidence, he asked. From last night. Video from your neighbor's ring cam. Crystal clear. Mia's eyes softened. "You okay?" He nodded, the lie smooth. Okay was a luxury for men without mirrors, without the reflection of a society that still saw his skin before his gavel. In Chambers, he reviewed precedents, loving v. Virginia's echoes in modern bigotry, the Shepherd Bird Act's teeth in federal law. Colin had built his career on these, dismantling empires of prejudice one ruling at a time. Yet this case clawed personal. Derek wasn't abstract, he was the bellow across the fence, the shadow in the alley. The bailiff called court to order. Colin entered to the shuffle of feet, robe whispering like a secret. The gallery was sparse, a few reporters from The Stranger, Alex in the back row, he uninvited but resolute, his presence a quiet anchor. Derek sat shackled at the defense table, eyes downcast, his lawyer murmuring urgently. "All rise," the bailiff intoned. Colin took the bench, heart steady as he scanned the room. Derek's gaze lifted, locking on him. Recognition dawned slow, then shattered like glass. The man's face drained of color, mouth agape as the pieces clicked, the watchful neighbor, the composed stranger, now enthroned in judgment. "Your Honor," the prosecutor began, voice crisp, "the state charges Derek Harlan with multiple counts under 18 U.S.C. Section 249, willful bodily injury motivated by bias." Derek's lawyer objected, procedural theater, but Colin sustained with measured calm. As evidence unspooled, photos of the cars, victim statements, Derek shifted, sweat beading on his brow. Midway, he lunged forward. "This guy's a plant. He's been spying on me." The gallery gasped. Colin's gavel cracked like thunder. "Order. Mr. Harlan, you will address the court properly or be held in contempt." Derek's eyes blazed. You're that black guy next door. Sent to ruin me." Murmurs rippled. Alex tensed in his seat, hand to mouth. Colin leaned forward, voice steel. "I am Judge Colin Hayes, presiding. Any perception of bias will be addressed through channels. Proceed." The hearing dragged, pleas entered, bail denied. Derek was led away, his glare a venomous promise. Colin adjourned, retreating to chambers where his reflection in the window showed a man frayed at the edges. Mia knocked. "Press is outside. And your friend wants to debrief." Colin exhaled. "Send him in." Alex entered, closing the door softly. "Holy shit, Colin. Judge? That's intense." He crossed the room, pulling Colin into an embrace that smelled of rain and resolve. "You were magnificent. Terrifying, but magnificent." Colin clung, the robe a barrier he shrugged off. "It's not theater. It's excavation, digging up rot to let light in." He sank into the chair, Alex perching on the desk. "Derek's not wrong. I was sent. Embedded to gather what couldn't be seen from afar." Alex's brow furrowed, not in judgment, but understanding. "Does that make you complicit? Or just human?" The question lingered as they left together, weaving through the throng of reporters Colin dodged with practiced grace. Outside, the Pike Street market hummed, fishmongers hawking salmon, tourists snapping photos of flying produce. They grabbed chowder at a waterfront stall, steam rising like unspoken fears. "You're scared," Alex said between spoonfuls, eyes on the ferry slicing the grey water. Colin stirred his bowl. "Of the verdict? No. Of what it unearths in me." He spoke then of his father, Elijah Hayes, who had scrubbed train cars while dreaming of law school for his son, only to die before the bar exam. "He taught me justice is blind, but never colorblind. Every ruling carries his shadow." Alex listened, hand over Colin's on the damp table. "My dads, Raoul and Theo, they fought for marriage equality here before it was cool. Lost jobs, friends. But they built something real." His thumb traced Colin's knuckles. "We could build that too." The invitation hung, vulnerable. Colin met his gaze, the city's heartbeat syncing with his own. "I'd like that." Back home, the neighborhood felt altered, charged. Yellow tape fluttered around Derek's door, a deputy car parked curbside. Mrs. Kowalski from downstairs left a pie on Colin's stoop, note reading, "For the brave one." He shared it with Alex on the fire escape, stars pricking the clearing sky. That night, lovemaking was fervent, bodies mapping territories of trust. Alex's whispers, promises in Spanish and English, eased the knots in Colin's soul. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Colin dreamed not of wreckage, but of horizons. But dawn brought the backlash. Colin's phone erupted, voicemails from unknown numbers, slurred epithets echoing Derek's rage. "Traitor judge. Go back to Chicago." The task force liaison called, threats traced to Harlan's crew. Increase security. At work, the docket swelled with spillover cases, petty thefts masking deeper despairs. Colin ruled with equity, but fatigue gnawed. Lunch found him in the courthouse park, benches slick with dew, when Alex texted, "Gallery tonight?" Distraction. He went, the space alive with queer joy, drag performers lip-syncing to Chapel Roan, walls hung with portraits of Troun's elders. Alex's designs glowed under spotlights, bold lines capturing resilience. Amid the crowd, a man approached, tall, bearded, with a southern drawl. "Judge Hayes?" "Name's Landon. Ex of Harlan's. Got info." Colin stiffened, pulling him aside. Landon, a former foreman, spoke in hushed tones, Derek's safe-held ledgers, bribes to silence victims. "He's got friends in high places. Watch your back." The warning chilled, but Colin's resolve hardened. He relayed it to Mia, who mobilized warrants. That evening, as he and Alex walked Broadway's neon-veined streets, past the historic Harvard Exit Theater, now a relic, Colin felt the noose tighten. "You're carrying the world," Alex said, linking arms. "Not alone," Colin replied, stealing a kiss under a street lamp's glow. Home brought no respite. A package on the doorstep, anonymous, heavy. Inside, a smashed taillight from his old car, wrapped in newsprint headlines of past acquittals. "Judges bleed too," scrawled in red. Alex found him staring at it on the kitchen floor. "We call the cops." Colin nodded, but inside, the old wounds reopened, Marcus's ghost, the ex who had fled when Colin's career demanded silence. Was history repeating, love collateral in Justice's ledger? They fortified, new locks, a discreet bodyguard from the marshals. Nights blurred into strategy sessions laced with tenderness, Alex sketching Colin's profile, capturing the judge's intensity in charcoal strokes. The preliminary hearing approached, Derek's allies circling like sharks. Colin prepared briefs late into the night, Alex asleep beside him, a lighthouse in the storm. Then, betrayal's first whisper, a leak in the press. The Seattle Times ran a piece, embedded judge in hate crimes sting. Sourcing anonymous tips that painted Colin as vigilante, not guardian. His superior called, "damage control." Harlan's team is motioning for recusal. Colin paced his chambers, robe discarded. "It's fabricated." "We know." "But perception." Alex arrived unannounced, face pale. "Saw the article. Is it bad?" "Worse." Colin pulled him close, the embrace fierce. "They want me off." "To let him walk." Alex cupped his face. "Then fight. Like you were born to." The motion hearing was a circus, cameras flashing, protesters chanting outside, half for justice, half against overreach. Derek smirked from the table, his lawyer spinning webs of doubt. Colin took the bench, voice resonant. "The court recognizes no bias in pursuit of truth." Motion denied. Derek's snarl was audible. "You'll regret this, Hayes." The gallery erupted, bailiffs restoring order. Colin adjourned, pulse thundering. Victory, but Pyrrhic, the threat now public, his face on every feed. Outside, Alex waited, rain sheeting down. "Proud of you," he said, umbrella shared. But as they drove home, a tailgater in a pickup, too close, too deliberate, swerved, forcing Colin off the road into a skid. Tire screamed, heart stopped. They emerged shaken, no damage but the jolt. Derek's people, Colin whispered. Alex's hand trembled in his. We end this. That night, in the safety of reinforced walls, Colin confessed fully, the task force, the embedding, the fears that had kept him walled. Alex listened, tears tracing his cheeks. I love you, he said simply. Walls and all. The words broke something in Colin, rebuilding it stronger. Dawn found them planning, not just survival, but a future. Yet the crisis loomed, Derek's trial a fortnight away. Whispers grew to roars, graffiti on the courthouse, hate mail flooding Colin's office. Landon called again, he's planning something big. Rally his base. Colin fortified, but cracks showed, in restless sleep, in touches grown desperate. Alex, ever the artist, painted a mural on their bedroom wall, two figures entwined against a stormy sky, eyes locked in defiance. It's us, he said. Unbreakable. Colin traced the lines, hope flickering. But outside, the rain fell harder, as if weeping for what was to come. The trial commenced under a sky bruised purple, Seattle's autumn surrendering to winter's edge. Colin arrived at the courthouse in an unmarked sedan, Marshall at the wheel, the city's ferries ghosting the horizon like forgotten dreams. Security had tripled, metal detectors beeping incessantly, KE9 units sniffing shadows. Inside, the courtroom felt like a pressure cooker, air humming with anticipation. Derek Harlan entered unbowed, fresh shave sharpening his jaw, suit ill-fitting over his bulk. His supporters packed the gallery, blue-collar men in flannel, women clutching purses like shields, murmuring prayers or curses. Alex sat front row, notebook in lap, sketching the scene with feverish strokes. Colin's eyes met his briefly, a lifeline in the storm. Be seated, the bailiff announced. Colin entered, robe settling like wings. He began with instructions, voice a steady baritone that quelled the undercurrent of unrest. We convene to seek truth, not vengeance. Let justice be our guide. Opening statements unfurled, the prosecutor, Elena Vasquez, a firebrand in her 40s with a prosecutor's poise honed on gang cases, laid out the timeline, months of escalating harassment culminating in the vehicular assaults. Mr. Harlan's actions were not isolated folly, but a pattern of willful intimidation rooted in racial animus. Derek's counsel, Harlan Tripp Whitaker, a silver-haired patrician from old Seattle money, countered with deflection, my client is a hard-working American, targeted by overzealous feds. This is persecution, Your Honor, not prosecution. Colin nodded impassively, but inside, the barbs landed. Tripp's eyes lingered on him, appraising, as if measuring the man beneath the robe. Witnesses paraded, the immigrant laborious, voices cracking as they recounted slurs and shoves on job sites. One, Javier Ruiz, a wiry Guatemalan with calloused hands, met Derek's glare. He said we steal jobs, then swung the hammer. Called me spick trash. Derek shifted, jaw clenched. Tripp cross-examined viciously, you have priors, Mr. Ruiz. Desperate for green card, yes. Colin interjected. Sustained. Counsel, relevance. The morning dragged, recesses bringing no relief. In chambers, Mia updated, protests outside. Counter-demonstrators too, LGBTQ groups, BLM allies. Tense. Colin rubbed his temples. Keep channels open. Alex waited in the hall, slipping him a thermos of soup. Fuel, he murmured, thumb brushing Colin's. You're glowing in there. Like you were made for it. The touch grounded him, but as court resumed, tension spiked. Landon took the stand, ledger in evidence bag. Found this in his office. Payoffs to keep mouths shut. Tripp pounced, and your motive, Mr. Cole? Bitter over a pink slip. Landon flushed. Fired for refusing to look away. The gallery stirred. A supporter shouted, liar. Bailiffs ejected him amid chaos. Colin banged the gavel. Clear the courtroom if necessary. Order. By adjournment, exhaustion etched Colin's face. He and Alex retreated to a dim Italian spot in Pioneer Square, brick walls echoing with clinking glasses. Over carbonara, Colin vented, "It's not just facts. It's souls on trial." Alex twirled past her, eyes soft. "Yours included. When do you let go?" "Soon," Colin promised, foot hooking Alex's under the table. The flirtation eased the knots, leading to an early night, bodies urgent, reclaiming agency in whispers and gasps. But respite shattered at midnight. A crash downstairs, glass breaking. Colin bolted awake, grabbing his pistol. Alex followed, pale. "Stay here." He crept to the window, flames licking Derek's empty garage, shadows fleeing. Fire trucks wailed, the block aglow. Arson, deliberate, retaliation's flare. Cops swarmed, Colin questioned in his robe. "Related?" the lead asked. "Undoubtedly." His voice held steady, but fear coiled for Alex, now huddled on the couch. Dawn brought headlines, Harlan trial ignites arson. The task force pulled strings, accelerating evidence dumps. Colin returned to court armored, ruling swift. Midweek, the turn, forensic testimony linked Derek's truck to the car damages via paint transfer. Tripp objected furiously. Chain of custody compromised. Overruled, Colin said, eyes on Derek, who paled further. Recess found Alex in tears outside. "Got a call, my studio vandalized. Sketches shredded, walls tagged." Colin's blood iced. His reach. They drove to the warehouse, crime scene tape fluttering. Inside, Alex's work lay in ruins, portraits of queer icons gashed, his mural of them defaced with slurs. Alex sank to his knees, shards crunching. "This was us. Our story." Colin knelt, pulling him close. "We'll rebuild. Together." But doubt festered. That evening, alone in chambers, Colin pored over case law, phone buzzing, Marcus, his ex, texting after years. "Saw the news. Be careful. Remember what it cost us." The message stung, reopening scars. Marcus had left when Colin's undercover stint on a corruption probe demanded ghosts. Love, he had learned, was the ultimate recusal. Alex sensed the distance that night, bodies side by side but worlds apart. "Talk to me." Colin hesitated, then spilled, "Marcus, the abandonment, the walls rebuilt higher. I don't know how to let you in without risking you." Alex's hand found his. "Risk is love's toll. Pay it." The trial pressed on, witnesses mounting like evidence. A psychologist testified to Derek's profile, deep-seated biases, amplified by economic insecurity. Classic radicalization. Derek erupted. "Bullshit. This country's gone soft." Contempt charge, 30 days added. The gallery fractured, supporters storming out. Post-court, Colin and Alex sought solace at Golden Gardens, beach path crunching underfoot, Puget Sound whispering. They walked hand in hand, defying stares. "Remember our first jog?" Alex asked. Colin smiled faintly. "You tripped into the lake." Laughter bubbled, a release. They made love on a blanket under stars, salt air mingling with sweat, reclaiming stolen joy. But crisis crested Friday. Anonymous tip, Derek's cellmate, a white supremacist, boasting of a plan for the judge. Marshals shadowed Colin, Alex relocated to his dad's in Queen Anne. Alone in the apartment, Colin paced, gun on the table. A knock, soft, insistent. Through the peephole, Tripp Whitaker, briefcase in hand. "Judge Hayes," the lawyer said, voice oily. Off-record chat. Colin opened the door warily. "State your business." Tripp entered, glancing around. "My client wants a deal. Plea to misdemeanors, community service. In exchange. Discretion on your methods." Colin's eyes narrowed. "Bribery's a felony, counselor." Tripp smiled thinly. "Perception. The press is circling your embedding. One word from us, and you're the story." Threat veiled as negotiation. Colin's pulse thrummed. Get out. As Tripp left, a shadow detached from the alley, a figure in hoodie, knife glinting. Colin slammed the door, dialing marshals. The assailant fled, but the message landed. Saturday brought isolation. Alex called, Dad say stay put. Love you. Colin holed up, reviewing closings. Sunday, a breakthrough, intercepted call from Derek to a burner, coordinating the arson. Evidence sealed. Monday's session, prosecution rested. Tripp's turn faltered, witnesses crumbling under cross. Derek, isolated, cracked in whispers to his lawyer. Closing arguments dawned raw. Elena evoked civil rights marches, the blood on Selma's bridge. This is our bridge now. Don't let it burn. Tripp spun Americana, a man's home, his castle. Overreach erodes freedoms. Colin listened, then charged the jury, deliberate bias, not accident. Find truth. They recessed, the wait interminable. Colin retreated to his office, Alex arriving despite warnings. Couldn't stay away. They embraced, the room a sanctuary. Hours ticked. Then, the buzz, verdict in. The courtroom hushed as the foreman read, guilty, all counts. Cheers erupted from allies, boos from foes. Derek sagged, eyes hollow. Colin polled the jury, voice unwavering. Court is adjourned. Outside, media frenzy. Colin and Alex slipped away, champagne at a speakeasy in Belltown. We did it, Alex toasted. Colin clinked glasses, but shadows lingered. Sentencing loomed, and with it, the final blow. That night, victory soured. A package arrived, Landon's body, no, photos of Alex's dad's home, circled in red. Next, the note read. Terror gripped. Colin mobilized protection, but trust frayed. This is my fault, he told Alex at dawn. No, Alex fierce. It's theirs. We fight. Yet in quiet moments, Colin wondered, could love survive the gavel's fall? Sentencing day arrived swathed in fog, the courthouse a monolith against the murk. Colin woke to Alex's side empty, note on the pillow, early meeting. Back soon. Breathe. The word steadied him, but anxiety gnawed, threats had escalated, notes slipped under doors, calls tracing to burner apps. He dressed methodically, black suit, starched shirt, the robe waiting like fate. Marshals escorted him, the drive silent save for radio chatter. Capitol Hill slumbered under drizzle, coffee shops exhaling steam like sighs. In chambers, Mia fussed, gallery full. Harlan's family, press, activists. Security's tight. Colin nodded, reviewing the pre-sentence report, Derek's life a ledger of squandered chances, high school dropout, divorced twice, debts mounting like resentments. Mitigating, childhood poverty, a daughter estranged. Aggravating, the hate, unrepentant. 8 years minimum, Colin murmured. With supervision. The clock ticked. Alex texted, outside. Dressed to kill, in support. A photo, him in a sharp blazer, winking. Court convened, tension electric. Derek stood, chains clinking, face gaunt. His daughter, a waifish 20-something named Riley, sat front row, eyes red-rimmed. Supporters glared, allies nodded resolve. Mr. Harlan, Colin began, you stand convicted of crimes that wound the Republic's soul. Your actions, born of fear, fed by division, scarred lives, property, community. Derek met his gaze, defiance cracking. I ain't sorry for protecting what's mine. Colin pressed on, quoting Baldwin, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. He detailed impacts, Ruiz's therapy bills, the mural's erasure symbolizing erased histories. Tripp interjected, mercy, your honor. Rehabilitation over retribution. Colin ignored, turning to victims. Statements. Javier rose, voice steady, you took my safety. But not my voice. Riley approached last, trembling. Dad. You taught me wrong from right. This ain't right. Sobs echoed. Colin paused, humanity flickering. The court sentences Derek Harlan to 10 years federal custody, followed by 3 years supervised release. Fines, restitution. Mandatory bias training. The gavel fell, final as a door slam. Derek crumpled, led away howling, "You'll pay, Hayes. All of you." Chaos, cheers, cries, media stampede. Colin adjourned, retreating. Alex waited in the antechamber, arms open. 10 years. Justice. Colin collapsed into him. Half measure. He needed breaking. They escaped to the arboretum, paths carpeted in fallen maple leaves, air crisp with pine. Benches invited confession. Riley's words, Colin said. They humanized him. Made me doubt. Alex squeezed his hand. Doubt's not weakness. It's wisdom. Picnic unpacked, sandwiches from Macrina Bakery, wine from Columbia Valley. They fed each other grapes, laughter bubbling. To new chapters, Alex toasted. But the idyll fractured. Colin's phone, superior. Harlan's appealing. And internal review on your embedding. Complaints of entrapment. Cold seeped in. From trip. Anonymous. But yeah. Homeward, shadows lengthened. The apartment building loomed, Derek's side boarded up. Inside, a chill, window cracked, papers rifled. Burglary? Alex whispered. Worse. Message. On the fridge, judges fall. In Derek's scrawl. Panic surged. Colin called it in, marshal sweeping. Safe, but violated. Alex paced, we move. No, Colin firm. Running surrender. Night brought insomnia. Colin sat vigil, gun nearby, Alex curled against him. Dreams twisted, Derek's face morphing to his father's, gavel shattering into chains. Morning mail delivered the blade, leaked emails, Colin's task force memos twisted to imply coercion. The PI ran a smear, rogue judge's vendetta. Quoting sources close to defense. Calls flooded, from the chief judge, demanding explanation, from activists, rallying support. Colin faced the press outside, statement measured, my conduct was beyond reproach. Truth will prevail. Alex stood beside, hand hidden in pocket, linking fingers. Proud, he mouthed. But isolation crept. Marcus called again, told you. Get out while you can. Colin hung up, stung. Trust eroded, who leaked? Landon vanished, phone dead. Midweek, crisis peaked. A pipe bomb schematic email to Colin's clerk, traced to Harlan's circle. Evacuations, FBI swarming. Colin testified in closed session, voice raw, this is escalation, not appeal. Protection amped, Alex to safe house, Colin in hotel. Separation gnawed, video calls their tether. Miss your chaos, Alex joked, but eyes betrayed fear. Investigation boomeranged, trip court coaching perjury, disbarment looming. Derek, from prison, wrote, you win battles, I win wars. Colin burned the letter, but embers lingered. Weekends brought hearings on the review, Colin's allies testifying, Elena on integrity, Mia on diligence. One night, alone in the sterile suite overlooking Elliott Bay, Colin broke. Dialed Alex, I can't do this without you. Then don't. Alex arrived hours later, defying orders, slipping security with a forged pass. They collided in the lobby, kissed desperate. Upstairs, barriers crumbled. Marry me, Alex gasped, post-climax, heart pounding. Colin stilled. What? After this storm. Build with me. Dad's always said commitment's the real verdict. Tears pricked. Yes. Renewal sparked action. Colin pushed the appeal, evidence mounting, Derek's prison calls plotting hits. Conviction upheld, trip indicted. Winter solstice neared, lights twinkling on the waterfront. They celebrated quietly, tree in the apartment, ornaments from Alex's childhood, rainbow spheres, activist pins. But betrayal's shadow loomed. Riley contacted Colin. "Dad's manipulating me. Says you're the devil." "Come see for yourself," Colin offered. She arrived, wary, at a neutral cafe. Over lattes, Colin shared his father's story, the Pullman cars, the dreams deferred. "Hates a chain. Breaks everyone." Riley softened. He wasn't always like this. Mom left, jobs dried. Turned him bitter. "Forgive?" Colin asked. "Not yet. But understand?" "Maybe." She left with his card, seed planted. Alex, witnessing, beamed, "You're healing him through her." Holiday brought fragile peace. Colin's family flew in, sisters from Chicago, nieces giggling. Dinner, turkey, collards, tamales blending heritages. Toasts to resilience. New Year's Eve, they watched fireworks from Kerry Park, city sprawled below like a jeweled map. "To us," Alex said, ring slipped on Colin's finger, simple band, engraved verdict, love. But dawn of the year brought the storm's echo. Derek attempted suicide in lockup, note blaming the black judge. Media frenzy renewed. Colin visited the hospital wing, against protocol. Derek, bandaged, sneered weakly. "Come to gloat. To witness." Colin Saturday. "Your daughter's reaching. Don't squander it." Derek turned away, but a tear escaped. "Lost everything." "Not everything. Change starts here." Leaving, Colin felt unburdened, the cycle bending. Spring hinted, cherries blooming on Yesla Way. The review cleared him, commendation even. Life normalized, jogs resumed, Alex's studio rebuilt with community murals. Yet intimacy deepened, vulnerabilities shared. One night, over wine, Colin admitted, "Feared losing you to this." Alex traced his jaw. "You almost did, to yourself." Therapy followed, joint sessions unpacking scars, Colin's celibacy as armor, Alex's ghosts of rejection. Summer bloomed, trials faded to memory. They vacationed in the San Juans, ferrying to Orcas Island, cabin by the sea. Days kayaking, nights stargazing, bodies attuned. Back in Seattle, wedding plans, small, courthouse affair, then reception at the gallery. Vows exchanged under rainbow arches, Riley as witness, Derek's letter of apology read aloud. But the narrative's arc demanded one final test. Fall returned, anniversary nearing. Anonymous call, Harlan's out on appeal bond. Watching. Paranoia resurfaced. Colin alerted authorities, but doubt poisoned. "Is it over?" he asked Alex one rainy eve. Alex pulled him to the mural, fingers on their painted eyes. "It never is. But we are." Vigilance held, but love prevailed. Derek's appeal failed, sentence intact. He entered rehab, Riley bridging. Colin's career soared, book deal on bias in justice, speaking tours. Alex's art flourished, exhibit celebrating intersectional loves. Yet the heart of it, quiet mornings, coffee shared, hands entwined. The car long repaired, symbol now of survival. Autumn leaves carpeted Capitol Hill like confetti from a half-remembered parade, but for Colin Hayes, the season carried the weight of unfinished reckonings. 2 years post-sentencing, life had woven a fragile tapestry, mornings with Alex's laughter echoing in their sunlit kitchen, evenings lost in case files softened by the other's touch. The apartment, once a bunker, now bloomed with potted ferns and Alex's evolving murals, walls alive with stories of queer black joy, figures dancing under electric skies. Colin's chambers at the courthouse had become a haven of quiet victories, pro bono clinics for hate crime survivors, mentorships for young jurists of color. The embedding scandal had faded to a footnote in legal journals, his commendation a shield against whispers. Yet dreams persisted, Derek's snarling face dissolving into his own, gavel morphing to chain. Alex noticed, as lovers do. Over brunch at La Peña, croissants flaking like old doubts, he probed gently. "You've been distant." "The book?" Colin sipped espresso, eyes on the market bustle. "Deadline's fine." "It's echoes." Alex's foot nudged his under the table. "Talk." That night, vulnerability spilled. Sessions with Dr. Liang unearthed buried rage, not just at Derek, but at a system that demanded his perfection while excusing others' venom. "I judged him," Colin confessed, head on Alex's lap, "but who judges me?" Alex stroked his fade. "We do. Together." Renewal came in small rebellions, a weekend in Portland, truffle hunting in Willamette forests, bodies muddied and merry. Back home, Alex proposed expanding the mural to the building exterior, a community project, bridges over divides. Residents rallied, Mrs. Kowalski's peerages fueled paint sessions, Javier's crew hauling supplies. Riley even joined, brush in hand, her father's letters, penitent, from prison, tucked in her pocket. "He writes weekly now," she told Colin. "Says your word stuck." Colin nodded, roller in hand. "Healing's a sentence we all serve." The unveiling drew crowds, local news, queer elders toasting with cider. Colin's speech, impromptu, "This wall isn't erasure's end, but beginning's art." Applause thundered, Alex's kiss sealing it. But harmony fractured with a call from Mia, Harlan's up for parole hearing. "Early release for good behavior?" Colin's stomach knotted. "Details?" "Next month." Victim impact statements encouraged. The news landed like a stone in still water. Alex found him on the fire escape, staring at the boarded duplex, now rented to a Syrian family, lights warm within. "We knew it had come." "I testify," Colin said. "For closure." Preparation consumed, drafting statements, consulting Elena, now a federal prosecutor. Alex supported, but tension simmered, nights shorter, touches tentative. The hearing loomed in Tacoma, a drive through evergreen tunnels. Colin and Alex rose pre-dawn, thermos of tea shared in the car. "Whatever happens," Alex said, hand on thigh, "we drive back together." The corrections facility was a grey sprawl, barbed wire glinting like accusations. Inside, the parole board room, linoleum floors, folding chairs, air stale with bureaucracy. Derek sat transformed, hair graying, frame leaner, eyes downcast in khakis and polo. Board members, stern faces, nodded Colin in. He took the stand, voice resonant, "I come not as judge, but man." Mr. Harlan's crime scarred, my car a symbol, but lives the true wreckage. Derek glanced up, flicker of shame. Colin continued, 2 years reflection yields this, remorse must birth action. "Your daughter's bridge, extended. Will you cross?" Riley followed, voice breaking, "Dad, come home changed." Derek rose, shackles absent. "I was lost in anger. Lost my way. Therapy. It showed me the poison. I write apologies, volunteer in here." For Riley. For all. Questions probed, relapse risks, support plans. Board deliberated privately. Waiting, Colin and Alex paced the lot, rain spitting. "You gave him grace," Alex said. "Or folly?" Doubt gnawed. Verdict, parole granted, conditions strict, counseling, community service, no contact zones. Derek approached post-hearing, hesitant. "Judge, Colin. Thank you. For not letting me rot." Colin's nod was cautious. "Don't thank. Prove." Driving back, catharsis washed, tears for the boy Derek might have been, for the man Colin still sought. Alex pulled over at a viewpoint, Olympics hazy. "Free," he said, kissing salt from Colin's cheeks. Home brought integration, therapy joint, exploring forgiveness's edges. Colin's book launched, Gavel and Grace, tour stops in Chicago, reuniting with sisters over deep dish, Marcus a distant echo. Winter holidays, fused traditions, Kwanzaa Kinara beside menorah from Alex's dad's, feasts blending soul food and Sephardic spices. Nieces dance to Motown remixes, joy unscripted. Spring spark change, promotion to appeals court, Colin star rising. Alex's gallery solo show, verdicts in color, pieces inspired by their saga, canvases of shattered glass reforming into prisms. Opening night, throng of admirers, Colin toasting, art judges us softly, but truly. Mid-kiss, Riley texted, Dad relapsed, slur at work. But he's trying. Colin sighed. Progress, not perfection. Summer wedding anniversary, vow renewal in the San Juans, officiant a trans elder. Vows updated, through verdicts and voids, I choose you. But autumn circled back, echoes insistent. News, Derek's crew reformed, low-level threats. Landon surfaced, whistleblower now, tipping a new bust. Colin testified again, embedding lessons applied. Bust succeeded, fractures mended. Yet personal crisis brewed. Alex, thriving, fielded job offer, LA firm, 6 figures. Tempted, he admitted over dinner at Carnley's, city lights below. Colin's fork paused. Go. With you? Yes. Without. Hurt flickered. Talks deepened, roots versus wings. Colin's career portable, but Seattle's reign their rhythm. Stay, he urged. Build here. Alex wavered, then, for us. Relief, but seed of resentment sprouted, unspoken sacrifices. Fall deepened, leaves turning. Colin's appeals docket, a landmark case, gay couples' adoption rights challenged on moral grounds. Ruling, affirmed, opinion poetic on love's legality. Celebration, party at the apartment, Javier grilling, Riley bringing pie. Derek absent, but his card arrived, proud of her. Grateful to you. Mid-festivities, Alex pulled Colin aside. LA called again. Deadline tomorrow. Colin's heart sank. Decide. Tears, I choose us. But it hurts, dreams deferred. Embrace fierce. We'll dream new. Resolution, compromise, Alex freelancing remote, LA visits. Balance restored. Winter's cusp, holiday lights strung. Colin's book tour ended triumphant, proceeds to hate crime funds. New Year's, bonfire on Alki Beach, waves lapping. To echo silenced, Alex toasted. But dawn brought truth's mirror, Colin's physical faltered, stress manifesting in chest pains, doctor's order, sabbatical. Hospital bed, Alex vigilant. Rest, he commanded. Colin complied, weeks in Montana cabin, big sky borrowed from a colleague. Snow blanketed, isolation healed, books read, trails hiked hand in hand. Emerging, renewed, I forgot to live. Alex grinned. Lesson learned. Spring court return, lighter load, more pro bono. Alex's mural expanded citywide, grants flowing. Summer, family reunion, Colin's father honored in Memorial Garden, bench inscribed, justice flows. Yet the arc's tension, Derek's full release neared, conditions met. Riley bridged, supervised meet. Cafe neutral, Derek, older, humbled. I read your book. Changed me. Colin searched his eyes. Prove it daily. Hand extended, not shaken, but acknowledged. Fall closed the circle, anniversary hike, Lake Washington sparkling. From wreckage to this, Colin marveled. Alex, our verdict. The relentless cycle of seasons in Seattle mirrored the undulating waves of Colin's inner world, each turnover a reminder that resolution was not a destination, but a perpetual navigation. 3 years after the gavel's echo on Derek Harlan's fate, the neighborhood had metamorphosed, the old duplexes repainted in vibrant hues, community gardens sprouting where chain link once rusted, and Alex's murals evolving into a district-wide tapestry of reclaimed narratives. Colin walked these streets now not as sentinel, but steward, his appeals court robes a cloak of broader influence. his days balanced adjudication with advocacy, morning briefs on digital privacy erosions, afternoons mentoring at the Black Law Students Association, evenings dissolving into Alex's orbit, shared suppers of experimental fusion, bodies entwining with the familiarity of well-worn paths. The ring on Colin's finger, once a defiant band, now felt like an extension of pulse, Alex's artwork etched into his soul. Yet beneath the equilibrium, fissures lingered. Colin's sabbatical had unearthed a hunger for depth beyond the bench, a novel unfinished, verses scribbled in margins of judgments. Alex, ever perceptive, nurtured it, weekend writers' retreats in the Cascades, where evergreens whispered permissions to dream. One crisp October morn, as they jogged the Burke-Gilman Trail, leaves crunching underfoot, Alex broached the horizon. Last Scout called again. Not a job, a collab. Month in spring, gallery sinking. Colin slowed, breath clouding. Tempting. Exciting. But uprooting. Alex trailed, eyes on the canal's glassy flow. Colin halted, hands on hips. We've danced this. Say yes. Alex's gaze sharpened. And you? Buried in appeals forever. The question pierced. Colin's promotion had chained him to docket swelling with AI biases, climate refugees please. Its purpose. Is it prison? Alex pressed, voice soft but steel-edged. Silence stretched, jog abandoned. Back home, shower steam carried confessions, Colin's fear of stagnation, Alex's quiet resentment of Seattle's grey grip on their fire. We evolve, Colin said, toweling. Or erode. That night, over Pinot at a Fremont wine bar, vintage Edison bulbs casting golden halos, they charted. Spring split, Alex proposed. You join mid-month. Test waters. Colin's nod was tentative, excitement laced with trepidation. Deal. Winter wove warmth, Kwanzaa with Colin's kin, Hanukkah latkes from Alex's dad's, a unity feast where stories swapped like heirlooms. Colin's nieces, now teens, grilled him on Uncle Judge escapades, laughter a salve. But echoes resurfaced. Riley called, Dad's out next week. Clean, they say. Wants to meet, neutral ground. Colin hesitated, Alex's hand steadying. Go. Close it. The meet, Ravenna Park, benches under cedars dripping mist. Derek arrived unaccompanied, Parker zipped, face lined like old leather. Hayes. Or Colin? Colin suffices. Awkward sit, coffee steaming. Derek fumbled, program's hard. But it works. Got a job, framing houses. No cruise. Colin sipped, assessing. Riley. Weekly dinners. She's expecting, grandkid on way. Pride cracked his facade. Congratulations. Pause. And the rest? Derek's eyes dropped. Wrote letters to victims. Javier responded. Forgave, sorta. Colin leaned forward. Forgiveness isn't absolution. It's release, for you. Derek nodded, throat working. Your book. Read it thrice. Facing the monster in mirror. Conversation meandered, Seattle's changes, Colin's rulings. No apologies demanded, understanding sufficed. Parting handshake firm. Stay the course, Colin said. Driving home, lightness bloomed. Alex waited with stew, ears attuned. Human. Flawed. Like us. Spring unfurled petals and plans. Colin's caseload lightened for the LA jaunt, flights booked, hotel in Silver Lake, artsy enclave of bungalows and murals mirroring Alex's vision. Departure day, airport kiss lingering, Alex's whisper, conquer. LA dazzled, sun unfiltered, palm shadows dancing. Colin checked into the boutique spot, walls hung with Chicano art, then taxied to the gallery district. Alex greeted amid canvases, bold abstracts of intertwined forms, evoking their own entwinements. Welcome, partner, Alex said, tour guiding. Collaborators buzzed, curators with tattoos, artists trading war stories over tacos. Evenings blurred, gallery crawls on sunset, Colin's observations fueling notebook scribbles, justice in the marginal, verdicts in graffiti. Mornings, runs along Venice boardwalk, waves crashing like unresolved chords. Mid-month, intimacy reignited, hotel nights fervent, bodies rediscovering in humid air. This city sings, Colin murmured, tracing Alex's collarbone. You harmonize, Alex replied, fingers in hair. But divergence tugged. Colin's emails piled, urgent motions, a high-profile appeal on trans rights. Go back, Alex urged one dawn, over room service eggs. Duty calls. Colin lingered, torn. Or stay. Write full-time. Alex stilled. Is that the dream? Confession, yes, the novel, Echoes of Equity, a fictional judge's odyssey through bias, begging completion. Quit the bench. Alex's eyes widened. Not quit. Pivot. Consultant, author. Freedom's allure versus security's anchor. They debated walks to Griffith Observatory, stars wheeling above. LA could be home, Alex ventured. Colin's heart raced. Uproot everything? Regrow. Return to Seattle, rain welcomed like old friend. Caseload awaited, but seed sown. Colin met with chief judge, sabbatical extension, transition to advisory. Summer solstice, decision crystallized. Resignation tendered, effective fall. Author now, he told Alex over rooftop barbecue, Javier flipping burgers. Gasps, cheers. Brave, Riley said, belly rounding. Fall's pivot, last rulings delivered, farewells tearful, Mia hugging, you'll shine. Derek sent card, admire the leap. Like me. New rhythm, mornings writing in the apartment, cursor dancing. Afternoons, Alex's studio assists, hands paint flecked. LA collab extended, quarterly trips, network building. Colin's agent landed deal, advance generous, tour mapped. Winter holidays, announcement feast, kin converging. Toasts to reinvention. But transition's underbelly, doubts whisper. Blank pages mocked, rejection stung. One night, storm raging, Colin hurled notebook, what if I'm empty? Alex gathered shards. You're full. Pour slow. Therapy revisited, unpacking imposter syndrome, the black excellence burden. Progress, chapters flowed, raw and resonant. Spring book launch, Elliott Bay Book Company, shelves groaning. Crowd swelled, Elena toasting, Javier reading excerpts. Alex's dedication to the judge who ruled my heart. Summer tour, coasts connected, stories shared. LA reading, standing ovation, scouts circling for screen rights. Fall deepened bonds, adoption talks, fostering a queer teen, paperwork weaving futures. Echoes quieted, Derek's family photos shared, grandchild's coos. Riley, he's steady. Thanks to you. Colin's reply, to all of us. Winter's Eve, cabin return, snow falling soft. Novel complete, manuscript bound. Alex, fire crackling, our arc. Colin, infinite. Yet life's script demanded nuance, health scare, Alex's routine check flagging anomaly, biopsy pending. Vigil, hospital waits, hands clasped. Benign, relief crashing. Post, deeper gratitude, travels paused for presence. Spring renewal, foster approval, teen named Kai arriving, wary eyes softening. Summer family, Kai's laughter blending. Fall harvest, book sequel outlined, murals city commissioned. Winter close, anniversary under Aurora, rare Seattle show. Vows whispered, through every season. The journey, not endpoint, love's court eternal. As the fourth autumn etched its gold into Seattle's veins, Colin Hayes stood at the cusp of a life reframed, not by robes or gavels, but by the deliberate strokes of choice and companionship. The novel Echoes of Equity had crested bestseller lists, its pages a mosaic of courtroom soliloquies and quiet intimacies, drawing letters from readers who saw their own verdicts mirrored. Colin's days now dance between ink and outreach, virtual keynotes on restorative justice, workshops for aspiring queer writers, and the steady hum of home, where Alex's latest series, Fractured Prisms, hung in a Soho exhibit, shards of stained glass capturing light's defiance. Their apartment, expanded to a row house in Madrona with lake views, pulsed with acquired lives. Kai, the 16-year-old foster son, now a fixture with his sketchpads and vegan experiments, his transition journey a shared vigil of binders and breakthroughs. Mornings unfolded in chaos beautiful, pancakes sizzling, Kai debating pronouns over oat milk, Alex's easel splashed in dawn hues. Yet reinvention's glow-masked undercurrents. Colin's spotlight invited scrutiny, op-eds questioning his soft pivot from bench to books, whispers of opportunism from old colleagues. Alex, jetting between coasts, fielded temptations, permanent LA studio, high-profile commissions. Kai, thriving at an arts magnet school, navigated teen tempests, first crush's heartbreak, racial microaggressions in hallways. One drizzly November eve, as Kai sulked over a rejected zine submission, the triad convened in the living room, fireplace crackling, rain tattooing panes. "It's crap," Kai muttered, hoodie shadowing his buzz cut. "No one wants trans black stories." Colin knelt, eyes level. "They want truth. Yours cuts deepest." Alex added, "Rejection's rehearsal." "My first show?" "Crickets." Kai scoff softened to nod. "Fine. Rewrite." Bedtime stories evolved, Colin's chapters read aloud, Kai illustrating margins. Bonds fortified, but strains showed, Alex's fatigue from travel, Colin's isolation in writing's cave. Thanksgiving gathered them, Colin's sisters flying in, Alex's dad's hosting turkey with 2 stones, Riley and her toddler joining, Derek's shadow benevolent now, grandparent visits normalized. Table talk meandered, Kai's poetry slam win, the baby's first steps. Post-feast walk, Les Kai waterfront, fog rolling off the lake. Riley confided, dad's proposing to his sponsor. Clean 5 years. Colin's smile genuine. Full circle. December's hush brought introspection. Colin's sequel stalled, characters stagnant. Therapy solo, Dr. Liang probed, fear of surpassing the first. Or failing it. Admission freed flow, manuscript surging, themes of chosen family. Alex's Soho return, triumph, but jet lag's toll. Airport reunion, Kai hugging fierce, Colin kissing lingering. Missed my muses. Holiday break, Orcas Island cabin, traditions fused, solstice lanterns, New Year's bonfire. Kai came out fully to extended kin, applause his crown. Winter thaw to spring's promise. Book tour redux, Austin, keynoting SXSW on narrative justice. Alex tagged along, collab with Texan muralists. Nights in hotel, passion rekindled, whispers of expansion, permanent LA pied-à-terre? Think, Alex mused, fingers tracing Colin's scars, faint from old stresses. Kai's college soon. Empty nest. Colin's laugh, plenty plots left. Return, foster agency call, siblings available, a boy and girl, history's heavy. Home council, Kai's vote eyes bright. Family grows. Paperwork whirl, visits tentative. Twins arrived summer, Jamal, 8, all questions, Lila, 6, silent observer. Chaos amplified, Crayon wars, midnight stories. Colin's writing adapted, voice memos during park picnics, Alex designing family crests. Sequel wrapped, title Prisms of Pardon. Fall's equinox, Derek's wedding invite. Colin attended solo, small venue in Ballard, sea shanties playing. Derek, suited, eyes clear, you showed mercy when I deserved none. Colin clasped arm. We all do. Riley's toast, to second acts. November elections, Colin's op-ed on voting rights, viral ripple. Backlash, trolls dredging old trial, slurs in DMs. Alex shielded, block. Breathe. Kai's response, zine counter-narrative, circulating school. Winter solstice, family ritual, lanterns launched on the lake, wishes aflame. Jamal's, no more running. Lila's, stay. New Year's dawn, Aurora encore, rare gift. Colin and Alex slipped away, bluff overlooking. 10 years since the screech, Colin reflected. Alex, from ruin to this. Vows renewed impromptu, in verdicts vast and quiet, I choose you, us, them. Spring bloomed adoptions, twins official, court sealed with Colin's old clerk witnessing. Party, block wide, murals unveiling, family portraits in mosaic. Summer travels, road trip southwest, canyons echoing resilience. Jamal's wonder, Lila sketches, ART's legacy. Fall harvest, sequel launch, packed house. Dedication, to echoes that build, not break. Derek attended, book signed, gratitude's verdict. Winter's embrace, holidays hybrid, kin converging. Kai's college acceptance, RISD, full ride. Empty nest loomed, but fullness persisted. Colin's third book conceived, memoirish, Justice's human toll. One snowy eve, as kids slept, Colin and Alex slow dance kitchen, Ella Fitzgerald crooning. Regrets? Alex asked. None. You? Only not sooner. Life's denouement, not grand finale, but coda-rich, grandkid someday, pages turning, love's enduring. In Seattle's eternal reign, they thrived, judges of their narrative, architects of grace. The circle complete, scars to stars.